Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today's unpopular opinion will be about Chris Rock and his Netflix stand-up special, Selective Outrage. Now I know that there are a lot of folks out there that are dancing in the streets because Chris finally dragged Will, and some people are saying that this stand-up special is the best comedy special of all times. Well folks, I have a different opinion about that, and I plan to share it. So without any further delay, let's jump right in. Now, nearly 1 year ago, the entire world came to a complete stop as people laid witness to Will Smith savagely beating Chris Rock within an inch of his life while they were at the Oscars awards ceremony. Will Smith's relentless attack left Chris Rock with 4 broken ribs, a broken leg, a concussion, and internal bleeding. While Chris Rock was in the hospital recovering from his injuries, Will Smith was partying on yachts and swimming in Olympic-sized pools filled with green jello while carrying his Academy Award trophy at all times. And when Chris Rock saw how Will had escaped the jaws of justice, he decided to take matters into his own hands. And he did this by carefully crafting a comedy special that was aimed at teaching Will and Jada Smith a lesson in humility. That special aired on Netflix and was called Selective Outrage. Now, as many of you already know, the story that I just told was completely 100% fake. But my point in telling that story was that all the Chris Rock fans out there were acting like what I just said actually happened to Chris, and that this Selective Outrage special was Chris Rock's big get back moment. The irony of Selective Outrage is that with the abundance of reality TV shows out there, with cast members punching, kicking and pulling each other's hair, as well as the thousands of cases of domestic violence that occur in America each day, the incident that was considered to be a bridge too far was when one millionaire got smacked by another and nobody got injured. Now, I wish that I could be as angry as everybody else when it comes to Chris Rock getting slapped, but I tend to worry about more pressing matters, such as the growing crime rate, inflation, government corruption, and so on. Now, when it comes to Chris Rock's Netflix special Selective Outrage, in my opinion, the special really wasn't anything special, at least not when compared to Chris Rock's bigger and blacker comedy special, which I believe is some of his best work. I mean, there were a few parts of Selective Outrage that made me chuckle here and there, but the 10 minutes at the end where Chris supposedly dragged Will was very underwhelming. I think that Chris's desired effect for the jokes would have been more impactful if Chris had delivered these jokes about a month or even a few months after the slap. Because by the time Selective Outrage had aired, nearly all the jokes that Chris had told about Will and Jada had already been publicly told several times by him and other comedians, which took the surprise and shock factors away. However, it is my opinion that Chris Rock was strategic in waiting so long to clap back at Will Smith. Most guys that I know wouldn't have stood by and let another man slap them without some sort of physical altercation to follow. Then again, most guys I know wouldn't joke about another man's wife while the man is sitting right in front of them. But Chris had ample opportunity to handle the situation with Will like a man, whether it be through fighting or through productive conflict resolution. But he didn't. And by the time Chris had announced this special, Will had already gone on his apology tour, given numerous interviews where he cried and tried to explain his actions, and it seemed like Will Smith's career was somewhat back on track. To me, this was a petty move by Chris, because his fanning of the flames put Will Smith in an impossible situation. Chris Rock knew that he could say whatever disrespectful thing he wanted to say about Will and Jada, and if Will tried to come back at Chris, then it would make Will look even worse than he did right after the slap. And we all know how much Will Smith cares about what other people think about him. But if Chris Rock completely disrespects Will and Jada, and Will turns the other cheek, then Chris Rock becomes just another guy on the long list of people who have publicly disrespected Will with impunity, and other comedians everywhere will continue to disrespect Will because there's money to be made in tearing him down right now. So indeed, Chris was playing chess while Will was playing checkers. But the uncomfortable truth about Selective Outrage is that the special was marketed for people who hate Will Smith and are willing to pay top dollar to see somebody tear him down by any means necessary. So as the video comes to a close, I want to end on this note. The Selective Outrage special, as well as Chris Rock's response to the whole incident, kind of proves why Chris Rock would never be in the same league as a comedian like Dave Chappelle. Have folks really forgotten that not too long ago, after Chris Rock was smacked in front of the whole world to see, Dave Chappelle was tackled by a lunatic that had a weapon while Dave was on stage? This happened in front of a large audience, and the person who attacked Dave wanted to cause major harm. But the incident was in the news cycle for about a week and then forgotten. Dave Chappelle spoke about the incident that happened afterwards, but he doesn't talk about it now. And one could argue that getting tackled by a regular Joe is far more embarrassing than getting slapped by a peer for joking about their wife. Now imagine if every victim of domestic violence that had ever gotten slapped or worse had received the same level of financial and emotional support that people are giving Chris Rock. We might actually be able to thrive as a society. But I guess for people who think like me, I respect Chris Rock's right to publicly voice how being slapped by Will Smith made him feel. But in my opinion, it was kinda cowardly to go about it the way he did. Yes, indeed, Chris Rock is making 50 times the amount of money by trashing Will Smith than he would have by suing Will Smith. But sadly, the only significant thing that Chris Rock will be known for within his past 20 years in the entertainment industry will be Slapgate and how he proved that he deserved to be slapped. But this marks the end of my video. Feel free to leave all comments below in the comment section, and I'll be sure to reply to everybody. Until next time, stay tuned and stay safe. Peace.